The Saugus Ironworks first became functional in 1646. This was very early in the Massachusetts Bay Colony history, and very advanced machinery and technology was used for the time period. Although it is known as the Saugus Ironworks, at this time the ironworks were a part of Lynn. The Saugus Ironworks today is recognized as a National Historic Site. The ironworks had an enormous impact on America. This is because the Saugus Ironworks was the first successful ironworks in the colonies, and it created an iron industry within the United States. A very important person that was involved in the creating and raising of the ironworks was John Winthrop the Younger. He was the son of the governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony at the time, who was John Winthrop. John Winthrop the Younger was an educated man who attended Trinity College in Dublin and also studied law in England. He was involved in many different projects, one of them being establishing the town of Ipswich in 1633. Later, in 1643, John Winthrop the Younger became involved in creating Braintree Ironworks with other investors. Shortly after the ironworks at Braintree failed, John Winthrop the Younger then helped fund and establish the first successful ironworks in the colonies, which was the Saugus Ironworks. Very shortly after the start of the ironworks at Saugus, John Winthrop the Younger abandoned the project, and another man named Richard Leader took over. Richard Leader was really the man who was responsible for creating the industrial site of the Saugus Ironworks, and he also helped pick the location. The location for the ironworks at Saugus was prime, and it allowed the site to be so successful. This is because it was located where there was a large supply of iron ore. It was also surrounded by woods, which supplied charcoal for the blast furnace. Lastly, it was located on the river, which was a necessity due to the fact that machines were run by water mills. In 1650, Richard Leader resigned from being the manager of the Saugus Ironworks, and a man named John Gifford, with the help of the accountant William Aubrey, took over the ironworks. The Saugus Ironworks industrial site was operational and producing iron until around 1670. The industrial site consisted of several buildings that were involved in the production of the iron. The first building was the blast furnace and casting shed. Here, they would melt the bog iron ore, which they dug up. The bog iron ore contained other minerals besides iron, so it was melted with a fluxing agent called gabbro to separate the iron. The melted iron would then harden in man-made trenches in the casting shed, which was at the bottom of the blast furnace. Next, they would take the pig iron, which was the large slabs of iron created in the casting shed, and bring them to the forge. In the forge, there was a large hammer called a trip hammer, powered by water wheels that would smash and shape the pig iron into smaller and square bars, called wrought iron. Some of the wrought iron was then sold directly, and the rest was taken to the rolling and slitting mill, where they used machinery to make the wrought iron into nails or bars that blacksmiths could manipulate more easily. The Saugus Ironworks was only operational for around 20 years, but it had a huge impact on the colonies and gave the iron industry a foothold in the Americas.